Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for tuning in to Choices Now TV. I'm back with you once again with just a little brief um, conversation. I guess conversation is a two-way street, but I just want to talk to you very briefly. I'm going to close out on Medicare. We talked about Medicare last week, and I just have a few things that I want to bring to you this morning. If you're enjoying the content, leave a message at the bottom. Also, I'm going to keep it really at this level. We are going to dive into some different avenues, but this will be the last month that I'm talking about Medicare, some of the benefits of it. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about skilled nursing facilities and, just give you a little testimony of what I had to deal with over the last month or so. It can be very traumatic if you're not rooted, if you're not grounded, if your feet aren't planted. Things can change on a dime. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Choices Now TV. And as I stated last week, you all will receive a book in the mail from our lovely government. I'm a caretaker for my mother. She lives with me, and I provide her care. We've had some challenging moments, and I had to learn very quickly about this system, Medicare, the Medicare system. She lived on her own in her own home for over 50 plus years, 55 years. She lived in her own home. She handled her business, and in the past 10 years or so, there started to be a decline, and family members came in to assist with her, and that decline was very subtle. So you didn't quite see it. It wasn't quite noticeable. And I would go down and visit with her, and everything seemed perfectly fine. And then something happened, and she had to end up coming to live with me. So that's it in a nutshell. And by her being here, I began to see some things that I never saw when I went to visit with her. Now, some of you may be saying, that's TMI, too much information. Well, a lot of times we don't share information because of what we feel people may think. Well, I look at it like this. People aren't doing anything for us. That's our mother, my mother. It's a choice. We could have put her somewhere and, just let them take care of her. And we're going to get into that because, like I said, we're going to talk about the nursing home part of Medicare. And if you have a Advantage plan, that Advantage plan also it's the same benefits as your Medicare, but it kind of varies a little bit. Some Advantage plans, the inpatient cost is a little cheaper, but the length of time isn't as long as traditional Medicare or original Medicare. So you have to really look at your plans and see what it offers. So I want to talk in particular about institutional Medicaid. Now, why am I bringing institutional Medicaid up when we're talking about Medicare? Well, when you have Medicare and say you have to go into a facility for long term, and you may not have all the necessary funds that will cover that rehabilitation, and if you don't progress or improve significantly enough to be independent, then you can transition into a long-term care. Now, here's the thing with institutional Medicaid, this is something you would have to apply for, but in order to do that, you can't be on an Advantage plan. You have to be on the original Medicare. Okay. Now, once you're on the traditional Medicare, there's a process that you go through. You have these different things. You have to qualify for the Medicaid. So if you're not able to afford the other costs, and depending on your condition, depending on your situation, you may qualify for Medicaid. And what that will do, that will allow your costs to be covered. It will be covered. So if you don't have any assets, say you were living in an apartment, you were in a group home or something like that, and you got sick, things just took a turn for the worse, or you had dementia and you start forgetting just general things. if this happens to you, know that there are resources. So you don't have to stay in your home and I got to stay here because I can't afford it. No, there is a way, and you may be able to qualify, but that's something that if that time arises, hopefully if you have a family member, they could assist you with this, or whomever is your caretaker. Once again, we talked about the healthcare proxy. If there's someone, if you don't have a family member, but there's a healthcare proxy in place that they're looking out for your best interest, okay? Now, what will happen, they'll go through the process, they'll check all your assets, they're gonna get into every bit of your finances. If you have a house, you have a bank account, a savings account, you have CDs, you have life insurance, anything over the allotted amount for Medicaid, although it's institutional Medicaid, anything over that, they're going to take. Okay, it's something like a buy down. They'll spend those funds on whatever until you get to that level to be able to cover your stay in a nursing home facility, be it for rehab, be it for long-term care, whatever the case may be. But what I wanted to really talk about, right now we're in the midst of COVID and there's shortages all over. There's shortages. So when you decide that you want to, that the situation is just too much for you and you can't handle it any longer, and you want to, say your loved one, they get sick and they have to go into the hospital, and they leave from the hospital, they go to the nursing home, and you say, okay, if they get better, they can come home. And then all of a sudden, just things don't seem to progress like you may have thought. Okay, and you decide to leave them there, but you notice that things aren't quite right. What do you do in a case like that? What do? You have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. If you have other family members, discuss it with the family members. At the end of the day, you want the best care for your loved one. Now, like I said earlier, with COVID, there's shortages all over healthcare. There's shortages. They're overworked, and yes, they're underpaid. So when you have to make that decision, that determination, it may be a hard one. Your family members may not agree with you. Okay, they may not be on one accord with you. If that's the case, you have to be the one to step in and make that conscious decision. What will be best for that loved one? If you are that person that has to make that decision, you may fall out with children. You may fall out with husbands. You may fall out with, siblings because of your decision. But at the end of the day, it's your charge. And when I say it's your charge to keep. Okay? It's your charge to keep. So you have to really be convinced that this is the right choice and to go into that facility. And when you leave your loved one in that facility, now you have to have peace of mind that they're going to do the best that they can do. And when they're short, something's going to go lacking, something's going to go missing. The best you can do is go in and visit with them, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. But there are times you may walk in and there's pee all over the floor. They may be sitting up or leaning out the chair. What are you going to do? Are you going to get upset? Or are you going to look at the situation? You're going to just kind of step in and do what you should do? No, there shouldn't be a shortage. No, they should be on their job. Absolutely. But these are some trying times right now. These are some trying times. So, like I said, I had some decisions to make this year. From the beginning of December, actually the end of November, up until currently. And I had to make some decisions. It was very difficult. I have my own health problems. I have things that I have to attend to concerning my own health. But I said to the Lord, I said, God, now if you take care of me, I know you're going to allow me to take care of my mother. So as I take care of my mother, God, I know you're going to take care of me. You're going to take care of me. And he's been gracious. And I had to have a mind shift, regardless of what anyone else said, no matter what anyone else did. I had to make this decision. I had to be at peace with me about my mother. Yes. So whether you like it or not, the decision has been made. At what cost? Oh, you're going to miss your grandchildren. You're going to miss your children. Well, remember, one day you will be on that side. You'll be on the side where I am. Your children will be where I am, let me say, and you will be on the side where my mother is. So think about it. So I don't know who will be watching this video today, but I want to come just to talk about when you're making your choices about nursing home facilities, and don't be overwhelmed. Don't be overwhelmed, because it can be very overwhelming. I tell you, when things happen, they come in like vultures. They see dollar signs. I don't care what anyone else says. They'll say one thing out of one side of their mouth, but they're looking at dollar signs at the end of the day. Oh, here's another admit. We have XYZ amount of dollars. From the hospital to the skilled nursing facilities, wherever it may be, they're looking at the dollar signs. You know, listen, we have to educate ourselves on what our benefits are. Educate yourself. Remember, Medicare.gov, also Medicaid.gov. Those are sites that are free. They're out there. And a lot of people, they don't like to go to social services offices because it's a long wait. Sometimes you feel that they do, like you're beneath the system. You know, you go in there, they don't treat you with respect. So I just wanted to say, let's educate ourselves. Watch out for our loved ones. Make those hard decisions. It will pay off. It will pay off in the sense that God sees your labor of love. He knows what you're going through. He knows how you're handling the situation, and he knows at what cost. And when he knows, you know, he's got you covered. So I'm not going to be before you very long. Like I said, I just want to talk about the nursing home facility. Let me give you a real quick through this book. And I had some other things I wanted to talk about, but I said, no, let me just give a little testimony today. Somewhat of a testimony. Like I said, I am a caretaker for my mother. My brother did it for many years. Quite challenging. And I had to call him. I remember calling him and say, you know, I apologize. I apologize because I didn't see it. I didn't see it. When I came down, everything looked fine. But since she's been a part of where I, you know, here with me, I've seen some things. And I can admit, I had to call and apologize to him. Did he do everything right? No. Do any of us do everything right? No. You know, the Bible says, ye that are without sin, cast the first stone. And if you remember the story, no one could cast a stone. Okay? So, excuse me. So, give me just a moment here. And this book is very informative. It usually comes right before open enrollment, October. Let's start down in there. So you have long-term hospital care, and this talks about on average of no more than 25 days. And when you leave from there, you go into your skilled nursing facility. And then if you need more than up to the 100 days for your Advantage plan, or up to 150 days for your, I'm sorry, oh, you have more than 150 days for your original Medicare. Then if it goes into the institutional Medicaid and you have to stay longer, as they say, long-term care, then those costs will be covered if you fall within the guidelines. If not, there's something you're going to have to pay for. Now, if you're not happy with the facility, certainly you can transfer, or you can bring your loved one home. You know, at home, they're going to get the care they need. They're going to have the attention they need. They're not, you know, they're going to have what they need. Now, whether they thrive or not when they come home, that's really up to the patient, you know, especially for dementia patients. When they reach a certain level and they stop eating, you know, they may continue to drink, but they, for whatever reason, will stop eating. It's here. It's in the mind. So we can encourage and we can, you know, really try to help them to keep that part of their mind going that says chew, eat, swallow, whatever it may be. But it can be challenging for them as well as for the caretaker. Okay, so I know I just kind of hit here and there and just kind of talked about a few things, but like I said, I want to give a little brief testimony. I had some challenging times, but with that being said, I am done. I am done. So I'm not going to revisit this. I just encourage you to go to Medicare.gov or Medicaid.gov to find out your information. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask. Doesn't matter what anyone says. You have to make those decisions. Solicit prayers. Prayers are a powerful thing. Even those that say they are not believers, that they're not Christians, they believe in prayer. They pray to someone. Okay? So thank you so much for joining me today at ChoicesNowtv. It's been my pleasure to talk with you this month about these items. Next month, we're going to get into some other things. And I think we're going to first talk about how do we heal? How do we heal? Heal. Emotionally. That's where we're going to touch at. It's sticky. It's tough. But we got to go there. Remember, this is Choices Now. We have a choice that we'll have to make. And that choice will help you in the future. So don't forget, put on your notification so that you can join me for the next video. All right. Thank you again for watching Choices Now TV. It's been my pleasure. And until next time, have a great day.